This preview of the upcoming Sunday school lesson is from Psalm 139, 112, and is entitled God's Promised Presence. Let's read our lesson text.
Psalm 139, 1st through the 12th verses from King James Version. O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my downsitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain unto it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning, and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee.
May the Lord add his blessings to the readers and hearers of his word. From the very beginning, God has demonstrated God's deep desire for connection and intimacy with his children. He created us in his image, breathing life into us and placing us in a paradise garden. God yearns for a close relationship with humanity. Throughout history, humanity has repeatedly turned away from God, choosing our own paths and succumbing to the temptations of sin. Despite our rebellion, God has never abandoned us. He persistently pursues us, offering forgiveness, grace, and the opportunity to restore our relationship with him. His love is relentless, unwavering, and eternally present. The story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden illustrates this dynamic perfectly. After their disobedience, they hid from God, ashamed and afraid of the consequences. Yet God sought them out, calling to them in the cool of the day. He didn't abandon them in their shame, but instead initiated reconciliation. This demonstrates God's relentless pursuit of his children, even when we stray from his path and try to hide from him. He longs for us to return to him, to experience the fullness of his love and the joy of his presence. Psalm 139 beautifully captures the comforting reality of God's omniscience. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me, the psalmist writes. God knows our thoughts, our intentions, and the very words we will speak before they leave our lips. This intimate knowledge can be both humbling and reassuring. It reminds us that we are never truly alone, that we are always seen and understood by a loving God. God's knowledge extends beyond our surface actions and delves into the depths of our hearts. He sees our motivations, our fears, and our deepest desires. Nothing is hidden from his gaze. This complete understanding allows him to meet us where we are, to offer us the specific grace and guidance we need in each moment. The human tendency to hide from God, especially when we feel ashamed or guilty, is a recurring theme throughout Scripture. Like Adam and Eve hiding in the garden after their disobedience, we often try to shield ourselves from God's light when we have fallen short. We fear God's judgment, his disappointment, and the consequences of our actions. This fear can drive us to seek refuge in the shadows, attempting to escape God's gaze. Yet, Psalm 139 assures us that no matter where we go, God's presence is inescapable. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? The psalmist asks. The answer is nowhere. God's presence permeates all of creation. He is with us in the heights of heaven and the depths of the sea. While the thought of God's constant presence might initially seem overwhelming, it is ultimately a source of immense comfort and protection. Knowing that God is with us through every trial and tribulation can bring a profound sense of peace and security. We are not left to navigate the challenges of life alone. We have a constant companion, a loving Father who walks beside us every step of the way. In moments of fear and anxiety, God's presence is a refuge. We can turn to Him in prayer, pouring out our hearts and seeking His guidance. God listens to our cries, understands our fears, and offers us His comfort and strength. He is our shield and protector, our ever-present help in times of trouble. God's promise of eternal presence transcends our feelings and circumstances. Even when we feel distant from Him, He remains present and active in our lives. Our feelings of closeness or distance from God do not diminish His unwavering commitment to us. God is always there, waiting for us to turn to Him, to reconnect with Him, and to experience the fullness of His love. This unwavering presence is a cornerstone of our faith. It is the foundation upon which we build our relationship with God. It is the source of our hope and the assurance that we are never truly alone. Even when we stumble and fall, God's presence is there to lift us up, to guide us back to the right path, and to remind us of His unconditional love.